Where are you getting your information? Is it coming from the world around you, or is it coming from the voice within you? Hi, this is Dr. Anita with another diamond moment. The diamonds of our lives are produced through time, heat, and pressure. It is absolutely up to us to gather the value from this information, to use it as we continue to move forward and to grow in life. Hopefully, if any of these messages have been a benefit to you, that you have already liked, subscribed, and you will share. We've been talking about what happens in 5D. We've talked about the fact that we as human beings live in a 3D world of a linear experience, which has with it a duality. Linear meaning from birth through life to death, and the duality of a right or wrong existence. As we begin to question and challenge what we have known to be our reality in this 3D world, we begin to experience something that's termed as 4D, a fourth dimension, where you're looking at where you've been and making that determination on where you will go. Once we get to the point of coming to the conclusion that maybe I have lived in a limiting experience, which is no longer where I choose to be, because again, we are free will beings. We can choose where we want to be. And once we make that decision, we're able to move forward into a spiritual way of being. That spiritual being living the life that we have determined to live. Again, in some faith traditions, it's referred to as faith. Faith being the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. In some, it's looked at as living in a existence of manifestation, being able to determine what enters our lives. And as we've been learning and growing in areas of spirituality, of listening to the communication within us, we're able to be led by that which is greater. Some term this listening within as intuition, being able to tap into, as we've said before, the clairs, clairaudience, clairsentience, and the other gifts that have been given to us to be able to hear that which is greater, to tune in to a all-encompassing energy force or field that is trying to enlighten us as to what we need to do, where we actually are, and how to move forward in this life that we're living until we find another instance of something that is troubling or that we need to question, go back, reevaluate, determine, make a decision on where we choose to be, and then move forward in that thing. So we've been talking about what happens in 5D. We talked about when we're in a period or an atmosphere of change and how important it is to listen to what's going on within us. I want us to continue, and I want us to think about this in light of a movement that is going forth that says Lotus is POTUS. Okay, if you know, you know. But it's also to understand that as people who live in a light world, a world of good and not of evil, a world that is seeking to connect and to support those who seek to connect us all. When we're living in that type of environment, what we have to remember is what we were taught all along. And that is that it is through holding firm to our beliefs that we're able to see the changes occur. From another perspective, it is continuing to stand firm in order to see the manifestation of that which you desire to have in your life. So there are times when you've gotten a message or you have a belief or there's something that's taking place within you in that inner man that tells you wait does not mean no, it means wait. It means the timing is not right. It means that there are other things that are taking place in the background that you don't have the privy to know what's going on. But to trust that those who work in the light are moving, that energy is moving to propel us to the place that we feel led, that we are, that we will be, and that which is on the way to us if we just hold on. As we're listening, as we're being still, as we're determining, am I being moved out of a place of fear, or am I being moved out of a place of knowing? Am I guessing, or is this what I truly believe to be the reality of the situation? Sometimes we just have to get to that place of being unafraid to stand in the face of what may not appear to be logical from a 3D perspective. And usually when we're willing to entertain an idea, we find out that it's not the only time in the history of the world that something has happened that was out of the ordinary. For those who are residents or citizens of the United States, then because of our history, we have not had a time in which someone came into authority and that someone was removed from authority. We have not experienced that. But if we look at a world stage, we understand that it's fairly common that someone may sit in a seat of authority and that seat moves and they are no longer in that position. I'm trying to be sensitive because I understand that we all have a different opinion and we all may not feel the same way. Some are thrilled, others are not. And so depending on where you are in your consideration of what's taking place right now, we also have to be aware that it's necessary to give grace, to forgive, to allow others the same opportunity to come to grips with how they feel now as opposed to maybe how they felt a few months back. So as we, and those of us that are in the United States, are looking around, there's a lot of opportunity to point fingers and say some realized what was taking place, others didn't, and therefore it's also necessary to take that moment and determine who we want to be. Are we of that which brings forth the good in this world, or are we a part of that which brings forth something that maybe is not as beneficial as what we initially thought? One of the wonderful things about being a free will being is that we can change our minds. We can utilize the energy, the life force that we have, and we can raise the vibration of things, meaning we can lift up the spiritual side of things and raise in our connectedness, all things. It is remembering that we have a power that sometimes we don't recognize. We are very powerful beings, and we do have the ability to speak what we want into what some call manifestation in this world. We have the ability to speak it forward. So sometimes we can dig up our faith with our words. What happened? I thought this was. Why didn't that take place? When you do that, you're digging up that seed of faith that you planted, not realizing that sometimes it takes some time. Sometimes there's not an immediate springing forth of what we'd hope for, but simply the need for time to take place, because what's happening under the ground, what's happening where we cannot see with our eyes, is being shown to us in the inner man. What we cannot see with our eyes is beginning to break through that harsh crust of life to bring the newness that we've asked for. This is a time for those who are spiritual, who listen from within, to hold firm what you felt, what you thought, what you've been given, in order to achieve that which is your heart's desire. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's years in the coming. How much can you hold to that which is good, that which is lovely, that which is of a good report? If you can hold to that energy across the world can raise us all to that point where what we believed, what we hoped for, is now the reality. And what we dreaded is no longer an issue, because we've lived through it and we've overcome it. That means we are not operating out of fear. We truly are operating out of faith. And it makes a big difference. When we're looking at the 5D, the spiritual realm, and bringing that into the reality of the 3D, of the 4D, moving into the 5D, we're able to see things change. We're able to see things grow. We're able to bring forth that which we wanted. And this is in every area of life. You don't have to be uncertain about life. Just listen to what's taking place within your heart. Sometimes we add to what we've been given when we need to just allow that truth to stand firm. I hope that this has been a benefit to you. I hope that you were able to read between the lines on what I have not said, but that you're able to get some comfort in listening to your own heart, listening to that which lies inside of you, becoming familiar with that intuitive voice that is there to guide you, and allowing yourself to trust God, the creator source, and that which is greater than you are. And as you learn and grow, you become more and more of what you want to be. You see more and more of what you want to have, and you become closer connected to others who have a like understanding. If you haven't done so, please get your Diamond Journey Journal and make a commitment to move forward in all of your goals this year. Join me on NoomVibe on FanBase and visit my website at www.DrAnitaMc.com. That's DrAnitaMc.com. And join me next week.